Good evening. How are you today? Good, good, good. Awesome. So I have a question for you. What is freedom? Freedom. Are you free?
Yeah.
Mm. Do you consider yourself free? No? No? Anybody? Sometimes.
On vacation. That's a good one.
On vacations. Okay, that's good. All right, because tonight we were gonna talk about this. First of all, is the feeling that we all have that we want this freedom. But what is it that we really, really want? We talk about this country is free, the other country is not free. America is all about the freedom, and we seem to be like talking about this issue a lot. And today I just wanted to reflect upon that and see what it is to be free, and what freedom really, really means. So to start, I got this from the dictionary. One of the definitions that they have about freedom is the condition or right of being able or allowed to do, say, and think whatever you want to without being controlled or limit. This is the definition that we have. We have a problem right here, the condition of right to being allowed to do, to say, to do. We don't have that freedom to begin with, because we have to follow certain laws. To say too, we have to be respectful. We can't say whatever we want to say that might put us in a little bit of trouble. Now to think, yes, we can think whatever we want without being controlled or without being limited. But besides this here, we have another point that we need to make. Are you free? And look at this picture here. What does this picture tells you, guys? When you see this, what do you feel?
That we are blind.
That we're blind. Blind of what?
To see the things that are actually there or that matters.
Okay. What do you see, Stanley? When you see this picture, what comes to your mind or your feelings?
That really is not being free.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe the freedom is inside you, not outside.
Okay. Awesome point. Who agrees with that? Maybe the freedom that we're so looking forward to it has a lot to do with the inside more than the outside. So that makes sense, right? And that's why we wanted freedom so badly. It comes from our unconscious mind, this thing, I want to be free, I want to have freedom, but freedom of what and whom? So this is the concept that I wanted to bring. The first thing, okay, the freedom that we are looking for, we are going to achieve, but we might be looking on the wrong place. That freedom that we're looking for, we should be turn our vision inward, and we should look at it inside of each one of us. Now, with that say, are you free? Because the freedom depends on you, right? It's an inner state. There is no one telling you what you can do or what you can't do it when it comes to your feelings, when it comes to your emotion, when it comes to your inner state. Okay? So, are we in self-prison?
Yes.
Okay? And what makes us there?
Because we don't know it.
How can we put ourselves on a self-prison? Look at this image here.
Creating too many responsibilities that is really not important.
Creating responsibility that is not important. Okay, let me ask you something, because people keep saying this, and I want your opinion. Is that a freedom? Hmm? Not really. Don't we say that when somebody passes away? We say, now he's free.
True.
Is he really free? No. Is this body a prison?
Yes. Can be.
It can be. So they tell you, if you got out of this body, you're free. Are you free when you die? No. So is this body a prison? So you see the concept that we have? That we just need to talk about those things. We just need to reflect upon this, because this is something that we keep saying to people all the time. Oh, now he's free, or she's free. Free to go where? Free from what? Yes, Anna. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you, is that we're trying to discuss here is the concept of freedom that we have. Do we have to think about them, to reflect about them, and maybe adjust a little bit? Yeah? What is freedom? So at least we can be on the same page, because it's something that we really want. And how can we have something that we really want if we don't really know what it is? Okay? So this is a problem, because we have to think about it. Okay, if I want freedom so much, why am I keeping myself in prison? Okay? And the next question that I have is, okay, I put myself there. How? How do I do it? She gave one idea. Okay? So let me bring a few things, just a few, okay, that it will keep us in this self-prison. Okay? First one is worry. Okay? Now, we have a problem here too. Because looks like when we were a kid, somebody taught us that we need to be worried. And it means that if we're not worried, we don't care. So we connect worry with love and care. It's got to go. It has nothing to do with that. Okay? How do we know that worry will bring us to that prison that we want desperate to escape? How do we know? Because freedom has everything to do with inner peace. Freedom has everything to do with feeling light. Very, very light. Like you walking on clouds. That's the feeling of freedom. And when you worry, you feel heavy. It's heavy. Depending on the amount of worry that you have, you might even have a back problem. That's how heavy it is. Because you keep carrying, all this thing around you. And that will keep you energetically heavy. Energetic speaking, you'll be heavy. And the feeling of being heavy, it means that you are taking your freedom away from you. The best representations, when you see the freedom, what is the best representation, symbolic speaking? Flying. Well, right? The eagle, right? That means freedom because they fly. They're light. And we insist on being so heavy. And that it does take, and by this, here, by cultivating this, you will go right here to the prison. And another thing that will take our freedom away is impatience. Okay? Now, how do you express your impatience? Let me ask you this.
Anger.
Think about this. Anger. How do you express? I'm going to give you a few examples so we can think about this. Do you yell?
I scream.
Do you change the tone of a voice? It goes from one tone to another. Do you roll your eyes?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Body language.
Yeah. Do you take a deep breath like a right? Like you use faces. Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that the person next to you noticed?
If they know you.
So you basically roll your eyes, right? Or you change your tone of voice, or whatever it is. We have to notice how do we express this. Because as I was saying in my Portuguese speech this week, impatience, it's something that, culturally speaking, nobody is ashamed to admit. If you're going to ask somebody, tell me one of your problems, they have no problem saying, I'm very impatient. I don't have patience. They have no problem with that whatsoever. Because it is something that in this world, it's
So common.
it's okay to want things right away, and it kind of like became a virtue. So nobody is paying attention to that. And then if you don't realize that this is a problem in your life, that this actually is putting you in self-prison, you're not going to work on this issue unless you realize that this is a problem. Okay? So yes, you roll your eyes. Yes, you change your tone of voice. Yes, you yell sometimes. Whatever is that you do, I'm going to ask you, I'm going to invite you to do one more thing. I'm going to invite you to check your inner world and said, oh my gosh, this feels weird. It feels heavy. It's not a good thing to feel. It's not. It's a problem. So instead of you just roll your eyes, do it. No problem. Express your impatience. Okay? But at the same time, check yourself and see the transformation that occurs when this happens. Notice. Take note. And see your freedom flying away from you, like you have no control. And then you become heavy. It's instantly you go from light to heavy. And then it's not a good thing. Okay? So we do have a habit of losing our patience constantly on our daily basis without realizing, without even thinking about it. We do, but we think about the other person. Oh, they did this to me. That's what I just react. It's gotta go a little deeper. Another thing that takes our freedom away is just because it takes us the feeling of being light, of flying, of transcended. Because we are spirit. We are immoral beings. We can do so much better than this. We really can. We really can. We can transcend all this. It's the feeling that we have, that we know that we are a immoral spirit. We know that we can transcend a lot of things. We can feel a lot of things. But we barely experience what it is to be this being, this spiritual being. Because we are too heavy, feeling, cultivating, worry, impatience, little things in life that takes away. I'm not talking about big pains or suffering that are normal here for us. I'm talking about little things. I'm talking about very small things that can take your patience away from you. A single question that is asked to you is a reason for you to lose it. It doesn't have to happen big, not a big time. I'm talking about the very small things. And that will brings us to this prisons of emotions. And it doesn't allow us to transcend. And we want to transcend. We wanted to live as a spirit, Even if we are on this body, we can still experience what it is to be, an immoral being. We can do that. But at the moment that we allow those things to be in our way, it's a problem. Okay? Another one, very intolerance. Okay? How do we express this on our daily lives? What about being Mrs. and Mr. Judgmental? This is how we usually express intolerance. It's when we are constantly judging. Constantly judging. And we don't realize that by judging, what we are doing is expressing an intolerance. It's a form of expression. Judgment is a form of express of your intolerance towards others and toward yourself too. And towards yourself too. Both. So when you judge someone or yourself, because there is a problem too. When you judge someone or you judging yourself, it's okay. Go ahead and judge, but don't only judge. Check yourself. Again, do a scan and see the changes on your body. And see how you will become heavier when you do that. When someone else is not doing their jobs, okay, it affects us. Okay, when forget about the other person. We are the only one that it's taking all these things. We are the only one who's putting ourselves on self-prison because we think that the other person is putting us there. But it's not.
And now the social media escalated this to a point, a level I've never seen in my life. Now people get together to go after an artist or someone that said something, and then they go like, for instance, boycott Yonara.
Yeah.
And then you attract and you be part of this big group. They come together, very intolerant, and they start attacking that person specifically. They create this hashtag boycott Yonara, for instance. And now they are together, and now it's even like, oh, you know, there are other people that think just like I do. So I am not.
It must be okay.
Yeah, I'm not intolerant just myself.
Yeah.
The other people are also joining me in that.
Yes. And then you will realize that when you become part of this group, what we don't realize is how much that energy, that fluid affect us, makes us sick or tired, okay, on the next day or whatever. Another form of intolerance is when you're talking about others. Gossip is an expression of your intolerance. We know all this. Like, I should be patient. I should be tolerant. I should have more tolerance. But the problem is this: I don't recognize the form that I express this on my daily life. And if I don't recognize how do I express this on my daily life, I can't stop it. Okay? So intolerance in social media today is intolerance when you get to talk about whoever there is and be against that person or that idea or whatever. Okay? Together is a funny thing because intolerance is something that we don't want to go alone. We always want to get somebody to do it with us. You know? And to think, you know, like we wanted to think and be part of something, you know, that really, really, really affect our bodies. Okay? And another huge one is selfishness. Okay? This me. It's nothing wrong in wanting stuff for you. But when it's only for you, it's a problem. Okay? It's when the problem with selfish is like when you only care about what your feeling is, meaning you want to feel good, but you don't care if others are not on the same page than you. Is about you and you and you. It could be about you. It could be about other people too. Because we don't see that we are all connected when it comes to this humanity here, incarnated and disincarnated. We are all connected. We should be thinking about, consider ourselves brothers and sisters, time to. Okay? So when you go there in a stop line and you see somebody begging for money or that it's been using drugs or anything like this, guess who that person is? Your brother, your sister, somebody that is suffering right there. Now, we cannot put them in a car and take them home, but at least we can help. Give them some food or anything without judging. Or even send a good prayer for that person over there. Or maybe look it in their eyes and say, I see you. I see you. And that's something that hurts us. And by not doing that, because those people, they feel that they are invisible in society, that no one cares. It's the same feeling that a selfishness person has, that I have to care about myself because no one else gives a damn. Yeah. That nobody cares. So I have to take care of myself. That's how the selfishness all started. Because that I think that you don't care about me. I think no one cares about me. Why should I care about anybody? And that's how the whole thing started. And that person is going, if she has a chance, she's going to become selfish too, because the thing is that the impression that we are giving to the world is that no one cares ever. No one cares about you or how you feel, and that's not really true. And we have to start a campaign. We have to start to make a difference and show to people that we do care. We do care. But in order to do this, to work on this, we will have to take our vision from this to that. Stop seeing the world here and earth as one incarnation and see yourself like this. What that person is going through in this lifetime, it doesn't define who they are. The same thing, it doesn't define who we are. Because that's the only way that when I think why this puts me in a prison, because when I think that I have to take care of myself because no one else will, it's a prison right there. It feels heavy to feel that way. The feeling that no one cares. What if we start to think about it and bring the reality that yes, people do care. If no one that I think, okay, I have one person that's care, which is my mentor, he or she cares. Jesus, I'm sure he cares. God, he cares. You see? And there is something that we keep saying all the time. I have to do this for myself because no one else will. I have to do this because no one else cares. I have to do this. Now, when you feel connected to the whole and you realize that you care, others will care, it will give you a sensation of peace. And that sensation of peace, you can transcend to something bigger than you. And when you transcend, when you feel that you are part of something so much bigger than you, is when you start to see a little bit of freedom. You experience that. Okay? And another one, it's pride, of course. The feeling that for some reason we are better than some people. That we know better. That we are more, I don't know, anything that it gives you the sense of that you are superior to others, that it's also a heavy vibration to be in, that it's also a problem. That's why you may see the biggest, when you see Jesus washing the feet of his own disciples, what is he trying to teach you there?
He's no better than anyone.
Yeah. Humbleness. Mm-hmm. He did that because, not because he wanted to only show us, because he felt that way. Because if you think about it, we are all God's children, God's creation. We all have the seeds of God inside of us. We all have the light. And this gives a sense of competition. And the sense of competition, the feeling of competition, that you want it to be good all the time and you want it to be better all the time, that it's also something that it makes you heavy and far from freedom. Because you want to compete. And how do you express this on your daily life? You got to find out. If you don't find it out how you express your pride on your daily life, you're not going to be able to work on this. How do you express this? I have a good example. Very, very small. Very, very small. That it can show you how this can be expressed in your life. How do you receive a criticism? It's a simple thing. Look at you inside when somebody's telling you that they don't agree on what you say or that you did something wrong. How do you feel that moment? Yes, that's the expression of pride in your life. That's an expression of pride in your life. This horrible thing that we keep talking about and about and about it. Okay, so if I feel that, okay, it gives me a feeling when somebody criticizes and tells me my tone of voice change, I lose my patience. Whatever happens that I express this criticism, or sometimes I even said, Cynthia criticized me. I might not say anything in front of her, but I go behind and I do my things. This is all expressions of pride. This is all expressions of pride. And how have you seen when somebody does a talk, does a speech, and you say, do you like the speech? Yeah, I love the way Patricia did. I love it. But this, and that is one person trying to be better than the other. We always wanted that feeling of competition. It's also a way that you express your pride on your daily life. When I don't have to be the best, and when I allow myself to make mistakes, and when I'm humble enough to realize that I don't have to be perfect, a criticism will not take the joy away from me. If it's taking the joy away from you, it's the expression of your pride. And again, who are the ones who are paying to carry this with us? We are. So if you want to break free, what is that you have to do? There is nothing I can imagine that nothing better than feel free inside of you, to have that real freedom. We can experience that sometimes in our daily life. We know how that feels. We know. Maybe not 100% of the time, but we've been there. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that a wonderful feeling? When you have this inner peace, when you light, when you experience, you're connected with something bigger than you. This nurse that worked on a nursing home, on the hospice actually, and she did a survey, and she asked this question for people that were dying. It says, what it is that you regret the most? And most of the people says it was to care about stupid things that I shouldn't. When you're there on you to pass from this life to the other dimension, how important it is if people criticize you or not. Right? It hasn't. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. If the person didn't say hi to you, or if the person correct a mistake that you made, or if the person didn't act the way you think he should, nothing will matter at that moment. Nothing. And if we want to break free, we can start living that way. Let's focus on the bigger problems of life, if we have any. None of us here live in Syria right now. None of us here are hungry and have nothing to eat. Those are problems. None of us here is in risk that, a plane might come in and a bomb might come in our house and blow it. None of us live those big problems that some of humanity do have to live with that. We only have people criticizing us. Oh, think about that. The kids in Syria. You can see, you tell a kid in Syria that got up there that is a refugee, that has no home, or maybe no parent, and you tell them that you feel really sad when somebody criticizes you. That it takes the joy away from you. That you became impatient when somebody tells you that you're not doing the right thing. And then you will realize that we are inside of this prison more than they are over there. Just because we are giving too much attention on the things that it's not allowing us to transcend to a wonderful and beautiful spiritual life. Thank you very much for your attention.